Hello and welcome to Natalie Inspires You. Today, I bring to you the second inspirational nugget on self-love. Now, in case you've just hopped onto the series, do remember that you would need to have watched the first part for this part to add a little more value to your life. And today, we're talking about setting boundaries. Learning to set healthy boundaries is a very, very, very important aspect of self-love, and that is why I choose to bring it to you today. So tell me something. What is the first thing that came to your mind when I said setting boundaries? In all probability, most of you would have got it right. It is learning to say no. And the quality of our relationships get affected strongly when we don't learn to set healthy boundaries. What happens? There's so much of anger, there's guilt, there's resentment, stress. And all of this has such a negative effect on our health. And if you can learn to set your boundaries with love, kindness, wisdom, and grace, believe me, you're a winner in this area. Learning to set boundaries doesn't come very easily to many of us. And I personally have struggled a lot in this area for years on end. But today, having moved into a zone that is far more peaceful, far more joyful, far more healthy, I definitely don't want to visit the old zone of just saying yes and not maintaining my healthy boundaries again. Now, this is all easier said than done. So let me give you a few practical examples followed by a few tips that will help you to perhaps move from saying yes to something that you'd like to say no to saying a healthy no. Let's start by listing down the situations that you find yourself difficult to set boundaries in, and also list down the people that you find it difficult to say no to. So some common examples would be friends, neighbors, community members, colleagues, and family. Let's take a practical example of learning to set boundaries with friends. So, say come Saturday night and you have an invitation to a dinner, to a barbecue, and you really don't want to go because you're tired. You've got an early morning on Sunday. You want to give priority to your health. You want to sleep a little longer. And you also want some quality time with your kids. Now, what are you going to choose to do? Are you going to choose to say yes to that invitation because of fear of rejection, fear of not being invited again, fear of not being part of that group? Or are you going to choose to say no with love, kindness, wisdom, and grace? The choice is yours. It's very simple, because the effect of this choice will have a direct effect on your relationships. It will also have a direct effect on your health. And what we need to keep in mind is what we are saying yes to and what we are saying no to. That is what defines us. This choice is purely yours. No one can set a boundary for you but yourself, because it is you who matter in this situation. It is you and your family members and the ones close to you that matter in this situation. Keep all these factors in mind when you're choosing to say yes and when you're choosing to say no. Well, you may come back to me and say, Nats, how is it possible to be kind and graceful to somebody who has hurt you so much? Well, let me share this with you. I've been personally in situations where I did not want to be kind with a lot of people who have hurt me. But the only way I could be kind to these people is when I sat in silence, in prayer, in meditation, connected with my Maker, heard and followed the voice of the Holy Spirit, and moved ahead steadily, slowly, with a lot of self-discipline and perseverance. And that is the only way I learned to set healthy boundaries. And let me tell you, you will face rejection, resentment. The same people who have been crossing your boundaries on years on end will be absolutely shocked and say she was never like that before. How come she's doing that now? And it may not be a very comfortable place to be in. But believe me, just press on. Move in faith and do it with love, with wisdom, with kindness and grace. How can you go wrong when you do it in love? Now, let me share with you 3 practical tips on how you can set a few healthy boundaries. 1, work towards finding a support group. By support group, I mean friends, mentors, spiritual guides who can guide you in a particular situation, who has crossed that path before, and through his or her experience, you can learn how to handle your situation well. You could also choose to set boundaries with a particular person on a particular day. The third thing I would suggest is that before you embark on this journey of setting boundaries, do say a prayer. Pray to the Holy Spirit for courage, because you need to be bold to take this step. And a very, very important aspect of you learning to set healthy boundaries for yourself and not allowing others to cross them is that in doing so, you will learn to respect another's boundary. Because what has happened to you is not what you would want somebody else to go through, right? And before I end, I'd like to say it's so encouraging to read your comments. It's so encouraging to receive messages from so many of you. I know that this journey is not easy, but it is definitely very powerful. To this journey, there are so many women around the world that are connecting on one platform through Natalie Inspires You. There's somebody from Germany, New Zealand, Australia, UK, Dubai, Hong Kong, Malaysia, India. And when each of us heal, do remember we are healing one another. If you do decide to set healthy boundaries, let me tell you, this journey is not going to be easy. And for that, let me send you a lot of courage. Let me send you a lot of love. And let me send you a lot of peace.